Hello, and welcome to the Market Shelf Mastery podcast, where I talk to food and drink founders, leaders, and change makers about their story transitioning from market stall to retail shelf. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Sanda Condratiuc, hope I've said that correctly, who is the owner of Deukes Honey. So welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Lisa, today, and well done on the pronunciation.
Thank you. I've been preparing and practicing, so thank you. So tell us a bit about Deukes Honey. How long have you been going? Where did it all start?
So Deukes Honey. Well, I am a honey sommelier, certified honey sommelier, and third generation beekeeper. So I would assume that my story with Deukes Honey, it's not quite as the registered company. It comes from a long time. I grew up in beekeeping industry. I've learned it out, obviously, from my grandpa and father, who has been one of the pillar, I would say, person within the new era of beekeeping in Eastern Europe. He's one of the co-founders of National Association of Beekeepers in Moldova, as well as working with a lot of different projects on establishing bioproducts, specifically bioproducts from beekeeping in Romania and in Kazakhstan. So that's been, I guess I've seen it in two ways, in production way, but I also have seen it from a legal perspective and what it takes to be a commercial beekeeper. And when I say commercial beekeeper, I mean a professional, somebody that is a beekeeper by profession, that knows not just the theory and the hobbyist, pleasure of doing it, but actually how do you take this product to the market? What it takes to go through the legislation around this, because honey is an animal product, requires very vigorous test analysis, and it has to be VED certified. So it's not just golden syrup in a jar. It's more than this, and it's backed up by a lot of industry procedures as well in food safety.
So you've very much grown up, surrounded by this industry then?
Yes, indeed. And this is probably I must say, I probably didn't appreciate it as much. I think when you come from a legacy family, it's very much thought that you will come in and continue. And I think the rebel in me was that I want to do something else, and it wasn't easy. The industry wasn't easy at all, and it is not today. I would say, like, the fact that the honey is the third most fake product on the planet, I think we still have some issues to resolve from many other perspectives. But from legacy perspective, like legacy point of view, I have had that always, embedded in the idea that you're going to continue, which I didn't. I went and did another 15 years of career in startups and had a degree in marketing and branding in the UK, and then I went to explore the world in that sense. And I certainly wasn't considering beekeeping at that point. I guess having been working in other industries, and I was always sort of homesick, and honey was something that would bring me a little bit of joy. And the fact that in supermarkets or at the farmers shops, I couldn't really get like monofloral honeys that taste very distinctively, and something that I would want to just reconnect with. It was one of the pillar, I would say, points at me reconsidering, my life choices and career path. And I think from that point onward, I start looking at the industry from a different perspective, from a perspective of how honey is still the third most paid product, or how we got there, and then why is that? Because it's one of the most ancient activity as in farming, and we still haven't really got to the bottom of it. And quite the opposite, we we turned it into the third most vague product on the planet.
Mm.
And I think this is where I was like, okay, there must be something that we can do. So I start looking at the market, what's showing, and I guess this is when I knocked back the door to my father's office. I was like, okay, I've got an idea.
Yeah. And did he say, "Oh, I knew you'd be back. I knew you'd come. I knew you'd see sense eventually."
No, I'm very fortunate that my father and actually family never really had strongly, imposed on me that. They left both of me and my brother actually choosing our paths.
Yeah.
But it's also beautiful to see how open-hearted, that new connection can be. So I think
Yeah.
it's definitely more than just a business. It's more of a family initiative.
Brilliant. And I suppose you have to come to your own conclusions, don't you? And you did exactly that after exploring other options first. So you came back to it at exactly the right time because you'd had the opportunity to go out and explore and see what else was out there in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very mature, conscious choice.
Yeah,
I've,
yeah,
I've done it with a decision that I want to take this, my family legacy, and I want to turn it into a force of good. And I think that's what deep down that motivates me a lot.
brilliant.
It's one of the reasons why Dukes came about.
Yeah.
It's just we need to have good honey on the shelves, and that's how the whole concept came together.
Well, let's talk a bit about the brand then. So you mentioned about it's not golden syrup in a jar. So does that mean how is Dukes presented? So, I'm pretty sure from hearing, I know what I know about you, it's not something which is available in a plastic bottle that you squeeze. So how are your Dukes honey products presented to the consumer?
So Dukes is premium monofloral honey.
And monofloral means, just explain what
Yeah.
monofloral means.
So we focus on producing and sourcing, which means we partner sometimes with other beekeepers that would produce honey that comes from single plant origin. A
Right.
good analogy would be Manuka. So we all understand Manuka. This is a monofloral type honey. We specialize currently within European-based monofloral honeys. But that's not where probably our story will stop, because we have beautiful other partners across the globe that definitely would be interesting. For example, lychee honey. Uh, you know,
Wow.
so any other types of monoflorals, it's a whole world that hasn't been tapped or explored at its core and hasn't really been shown to the world, to the customer. So I think that's where we bring the most value. And in terms of position, we are definitely the first taste-led, sommelier curated monofloral honey house in the UK. So it's something that we keep on as a market position, but also it's a single flower, single origin, and fully traceable product. So we trace every jar back to the beekeeper and the field that it was harvested, and we share all the test analysis with the consumers. So they can certainly see and taste the honesty and the actual honey that literally came from the hive.
Amazing. Wow, that's incredible. So it is available in glass jars, is that correct?
Yes, so we have 250 grams in glass jars. We have 80 grams now, smaller size for delis, for cheese pairings, or any other smaller if you would like options, and the sachets. So a sachets is another tasting experience that we're opening to the customer. So I personally use it as a go, like on the go. So I always have a little sachet of 12 grams in my bag. When I want to grab a coffee, I know I'm gonna add a little bit of honey to it instead of sugar. So it's just an easy on the go product.
Brilliant. So jars in varying sizes, sachets for on the go. Sounds like you've got it covered in terms of packaging format. So tell me a bit around, where did you start selling your Duke's honey? So where did you start getting your product directly into the hands of your consumers, or how did you start getting your product into the hands of consumers?
Yeah, so that's a very unusual story because we straight away got listed with Selfridges.
Wow.
So I think for us it was again it's not quite by the book, and I'm sure a lot of other entrepreneurs will figure that out pretty quickly. It's not really a predictable path. You need to understand what your product is, how does it fit, and where could be your distribution channel. So we initially focused on the retail, and from the retail, we knew that we probably will be more suited within a delicatessen, a specialty type store. And Selfridges, we reached out, to them via LinkedIn, and then met them at one of the specialty fine food events, like a B2B event, and that was a sale deal. So for us, it was very much bringing the innovation forward and meeting those people that actually are on board and on the same page with you. But I know that's not the same story for many other food brands, and it's not easy to win such accounts. I think for us, it was the uniqueness of the product and the
Yeah.
diversity in taste and how we source and what we do, that mattered, and the fact that we already had a small presence within our audience on D2C. Again, it's not we certainly focused on the retail side more. So that was the first account, and then we slowly start getting into the specialty and more premium delis across London and the UK.
Brilliant. You make it sound so easy, like, oh well, we reached out to Selfridges, then we met them, then jobs are good, and they listed our honey in the store, off we go. So I'd like to explore, if I can, that initial, when you say you reached out on LinkedIn, what did that look like? Did you connect with the person? Did you send them a message without knowing them? So how did you make that initial introduction?
I literally start searching on LinkedIn Selfridges and looking for the buyers. I reached out to a completely different buyer. I had a presentation already about Dukes that was beautifully curated, and we had all the information in there. So we've done quite a bit on investment prior to launch in marketing and the way the brand was presented, the imagery, the assets that we needed for sales as well. And then I have shared that with as many buyers as possible.
Okay.
Somebody actually got back to me, so that was thrilling, and said, "I'll just forward to the category buyer, and if they like it, they'll reach out to you." And then a few days later, I get a message. So I think that's. But again, you are right when you say that. It sounds so easy. Yes, but maybe it was the right moment at
Correct.
the
And
right
also it
time.
was the right product for the right retailer. So I think, yes, it sounds easy, and there'll be many people listening thinking, oh wow, I wish I could do the same. But the truth is that you went to them because you believe that your product was the right fit for their store.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
So
you
I
could
think
demonstrate that, couldn't you, through your, the product, and you say the high quality assets that you'd created. It was almost presented to them as a no-brainer.
absolutely. So definitely don't undermine the time you need to spend for preparation.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying being obsessed about every, you know, pixel on your assets, but you make sure that you are presented in the best light,
absolutely.
where you want the brand to be presented. That speaks volumes if you put the effort in. Also, make sure that is tailored, and the messages are not just a copy paste. I know this these days with AI, we tend to use it quite a lot to help out, but make sure that that's not just a copy paste. It's very intentional, and
Yeah,
it's very personal as well. I think we're still buying with emotions and with what we know that buyers have KPIs and they're all going to be guided by that. Although they might love your product, if it's not under today's agenda for the organization, that won't be, a success. But I think we were just at the right time
Yeah.
with that, and I think and it happened. But there wasn't the same easy story for any other retailers that we then followed to work with. It took us a few years to get a very good distributor with us to help us go through and introduce us to other retailers. But also it took us a very long time to figure out where are those new retailers are, and who
Yeah.
is a good fit for the who would have that customer base, who would understand the product. So I think that just requires much more work. And one thing is to get a listing. There's a second thing to make sales.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you might get a listing, but if you don't keep up with sales, it's something that, again, everyone will be reviewing quite a lot. And you need to make sure that you show this
Yeah.
in numbers.
You don't get a second chance, do you? So if you get the listing and the sales don't stack up and you're out, you don't get the opportunity to go back in again.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
So I think the message is clear. It is about spend time making sure that your assets reflects your brand. So if you are a quality brand which demands a high price point, make sure that your sales deck or presentation, whatever you want to call it, shouts that. And also make sure you do your research. So if you're pitching to a particular retailer, make sure you've visited them, you understand them, and you can see where your product fits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think that's just only for the premium products. It should be for any product that
Yeah, I agree.
Price point reflects a lot of different things, but being the product that you want to either innovate the category or do, bring some new ideas to the market and a new trend, maybe a new trend or anything that you're thinking that you create that positioning and differentiation from competition. You just need to show that throughout all your touch points. I think that's important, and the preparation is key.
Okay, so you mentioned about Selfridges came first. Were you able to use that Selfridges listing to unlock other opportunities?
Not always. I'll be super frank. Yeah, some delis would say, okay, yeah, that's amazing. They have a different, maybe purchasing power, different customer base, or a bigger marketing budget, a bigger team. So a smaller deli will say, yeah, that's impressive, but we just, we don't think that our customer base will be a right fit for the product. So we had that quite a few times. So it's just, again, sometimes those things don't really work up. But I think it is for you to decide, where do you think your communication channel with the end customer is? What would be the right channel for your audience? And the retailer could either unlock, or the retailer could maybe not be the right fit for brand, and vice versa. So it's both. It plays into both sides, I would say.
And it comes back to preparation and planning again, doesn't it? And pitching to the right audience in the right place.
The more no's you get, the better you understand where you position.
Well, that is a very, very, very positive spin on a no, which I absolutely love. So talk to me about that. So how do you stay driven, resilient, and motivated when you are getting no's?
It's a very difficult conversation, I think, to have, and a subject to discuss, because you, as a founder, you believe in your product, and it's almost like your baby, and you really want to have it out there. But at the same time, you need to listen very carefully if somebody says a no, and the reason why, because that also can dictate to you, maybe there is some things that you might need to adjust and change. And we've done many times. I mean, we had, I was like, why the jars are in the box? We don't want jars in the box. we want something else. We want the honey to be seen and things like that. So we know, and we sometimes it would be acceptable because the box for us is a functional decision.
So your jars come in a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our jars come in a box, and initially buyers would think, "Oh, that's gifting," and it's not quite. So packed honey gets damaged by light and heat in the retail
Ah.
space. So the box is to protect from a direct light.
Oh,
If you were
wow.
to walk in retails like Selfridges, they actually turned off the lights where on the section.
Oh man, that's amazing. See,
Yes,
I never even knew that. And once you've explained that, it's like, wow, I see that now as a really positive selling story. That's why it comes in a box, because we
yes.
care about what's inside.
Absolutely, and for us, actually, the jar is so we've done a great deal of designing it, and we're so proud of it
Mm.
personally. And I think it works very nicely with them. We had a positive customer feedback as well. But the box is a functional story, and we need that to protect from deviation of heat from warehouse to storing, also when and direct sunlight, because that will cause a faster crystallization process or a split in honey. So it's quite technical in that sense.
Wow, well, you really have sort of thought of all the details. So celebrate the nose,
Yes.
but use the nose as an opportunity to ask for feedback. So why is it a no? And affect the things that you can affect, and choose to move on from those that you can't, I suppose, is one of the key messages.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So we always seek to know, oh, no, I understand, but would you be able to give us a tailored feedback, or why is not at the right, maybe not, it's not the right time, or maybe it's not the right product. So we get a better understanding of the
Mm.
audience and what are our distribution channels in that sense. Where do we need to? So we've learned a great deal out of those no's. Some of them would be price sensitive, some of them wouldn't be price sensitive, would just be, not the right time. Maybe they are looking for this sort of product in Christmas, and this is the only time when they do that. So every store, every retail has their own KPIs and values and ways of operating those points. And you need to understand and adjust to it if you really, really want to be there. Some of the things for some of them, we've adjusted with the idea that we provided a mix box. For that, we try to de-risk all the uh, financials. We try to de-risk all the idea of a store investing in stock and staying on the shelf with us. It was always like a story that we can learn from, how we can make it the product to actually get away from
Yeah, yeah.
be picked up and bought, and what are the things that we can do, how we can support the retailer to bring the product into light and the face of the customer. So those no's were great opportunities for us to actually innovate more and understand what is our product market fit.
Yeah. So talking about that now, so in terms of your product market fit and where you see your product on shelf now, so what does your retailer landscape look like now? So aside from Selfridges, where else can your customers access your beautiful honey?
We have a very diverse chain of retails, from online marketplaces. Like recently, we got with Hollet and Barrett Marketplace, to the delis and farm shops like Macknade, Teals. They are, again, not London. Olive is not London based, but we know that those retailers value quality, value
Definitely.
traceability, and they have a strong ethos around sourcing such products. And I think this is where we figured out that that's our customer base. We
Mm.
also have learned, and we are bringing now some new ways of product usability through the cheese and honey workshops. We do events at those places. We help and we bring that idea of how you can use honey more than breakfast, and maybe tea or on the toast. You bring it into cheese pairings, you bring it into a salad dressing, you bring it into your cooking, you bring it into many, many, many more options. And we are trying to create that educational piece together with the retailers.
So that's around occasion-based retailing. So pitching your product as part of an occasion as opposed to just a standalone product which sits on a shelf. So if you're selling cheese, why not also try this product as well? Because, by the way, it goes really great together.
Absolutely, and this is where my expertise as a honey sommelier comes in. We curate those occasions and opportunities for you to indulge yourself with such honeys. So I think it's all about, how you build up into it.
Is that a whole new sector of opportunity for you? So anywhere with us, and we see that in the farm shop and deli sector, these amazing retailers with a really, really big and well thought through cheese counter, prime opportunity.
Absolutely, and we've learned it because we had many no's from the
Yeah.
retail. So
That
we've
on
learned it
this
into that way.
That's so amazing. That is such a level of maturity around accepting that decision and taking it on board and learning and developing from it.
Yeah, but don't forget that didn't come just into isolation. We also looked at when customers would buy our product. And when we've done tastings, we would ask questions, we would figure out what are the ways of using this product. So again, occasion and usability was a core thing for us to understand from customer's perspective. And then, in those conversations and having, thousands of tastings, we've built that idea, into life and tried to unlock that opportunities for ourselves. And this is what now is becoming, the North Star, how we can open up more product experience for our customers.
Yeah.
Because this is what for us is the driver. And if that's a pairing combination or that's like a partnership with some other brands, how we can create that for them. So it's all, and if, for example, a deli that we thought will be a great fit doesn't really have that angle, maybe our product will actually, he's right, maybe our product will stay on that shelf for a period of time and it won't move. So that's not in our interest and that's not in retailers' interest. So you just need to accept it and move forward.
Yeah. So let's just touch briefly on. So you talked about obviously gaining a listing, and then sales need to reflect, or sales need to be such that you maintain your listing. So how long have you been in Selfridges, and how, I'm going to use Selfridges as a particular example because I think that's what many people will identify with. So how long have you been with Selfridges, and how have you supported your listing in Selfridges to ensure that it stayed listed?
So we've been with Selfridges for 3 years now, and we have been organizing and actively doing tastings monthly to help them as well as us move the product off the shelf. So it's like we know that we can unlock the customer experience through tasting.
Your setup for those tastings is beautiful, isn't it? I've seen it on your Instagram.
Yeah, no. So we bring again. We talk all about the product, and we are absolutely obsessed to find for people to find their beloved honey taste, because this is where we believe you get the most health benefit out of it. A lot of honey has quite similar health benefits in the general way. Some monoflorals will bring you a little bit more of those benefits as like, lower glycemic index, which is the acacia, or higher antioxidant activity, which is the buckwheat. Some of them, linden, for example, will be very good for sore throats and things like that. Or sunflower, again, that would be for if you are low on sugars and you need a little bit of that boost. So we tell that story through every touch point that we have. Either the product when it's there, we have a little board that says and tastes, and also gives you some ideas of pairing and creating that usability build up. Again, it's all about how you use that product. And I think because monofloral honey is not mainstream yet, we need to work on that educational piece. And we hope that our Today Path is the way to unlock it.
Yeah. So you're supporting your listing with frequent in-store tastings. Are you still enjoying those? You do those, don't you, yourself?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. This is my bread and butter. Is if I could have an opportunity to just do tastings every day, all day, I probably will.
Oh, wow.
It's just I'm so dedicated to understand how people use honey, why, what are the things they're doing with honey, and just that for me is a food for thought because I learn as much
Mm,
about the product usability from the actual source.
yeah.
But
That,
so the customers will tell you everything about your product. Is it good?
yeah.
Is it bad? Do you need anything to change? Yeah, sometimes they might be a little bit conservative of like not giving you the, quite harsh feedback. But in the majority of the time, they actually are very, very
Mm.
open to share their thoughts.
Some of our other guests, or some of my other guests, have talked about nothing beats the experience of looking your consumers in the that they use the phrase in the whites of their eyes, which sounds quite scary, but actually it's what you just described. You know, that is such rich feedback, isn't it, that you're getting in that moment?
Yes, and nobody else will give you that feedback apart from, hearing from your customer's mouth in a way.
Mhm.
Because it's one, we are always, so if you look at even the D2C, sometimes you would send a survey and they will answer a few questions, but nothing beats the face to face and nothing
Yeah,
beats that experience when you see like expression on their face and either the happiness or the sadness or the excitement or the surprise. So that is priceless, and you can't
yeah,
take it through questionnaire, and none of the distributors will tell you that, none of the
yeah,
retailers will tell you that, because it's just you and the customer face
yeah.
to face. And this is where you get to understand more and more and more about how your product fits.
Brilliant. So you are in Selfridges, in Teals, in McNaid. You've definitely identified an opportunity now to maximise this pairing with cheese. So who's next on your wish list in terms of where would you love to be able to walk into a store and see your product there on a shelf?
Obviously, I'll name the big names that
Do it.
so it's Whole Foods, but we've been in touch with them, and it's a no for now. And we are happy sort of to at least get the no, and just to see and build up the opportunity when it could become a yes. Obviously, we would love to work with Bali and Sage, who again said no to us at this point in time. And it's a hard one because it's so like it takes so much energy and so much work and so much reach out for you to even get that no. But at least you are very much positioned. Partages again in London, we had a no, but we certainly at one point will be there. So
Yeah, love it.
it's we are not afraid of those no's, because I think sometimes those no's don't represent a no for the product, it represents that at this moment in time. So it's always nice to reach out back out and see. Again, maybe Waitrose would be a very, very interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
It's something that we are trying to build into as an independent brand for that reach. But again, there are some Panthers. Again, we've been in touch with them so many times. A no for now, but maybe a yes for future. So you never know. Ocado is the same. So we
Yeah,
had a no for now, but maybe a yes for future. So you need to keep on knocking those doors and
absolutely.
understand that this time it's not the right key, but it will potentially be one of those that will happen for you. That is also brand awareness. That's also a good PR for your brand. The fact that they even had a look at your product
Yeah.
is
They
is
know
very good.
they know who you are now.
Yes.
So and also these people move around, don't they? So the people that have delivered the no for nows in the businesses that they're currently in might move on to another business where it's a definite yes.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I think also buyers are not there to be evil towards the brands. They are there to protect the interest of the company.
Yeah,
They're also there to bring the innovation that's required. And sometimes, you know, you need to play, you know, the good cop or bad cop.
yeah,
That's not a representative of who they are. I think they are absolutely brilliant at what they're doing because it's difficult, especially that now there's so many new brands coming on board. When you decide who to bring on board, you need to be
yeah,
having that solid decision and bring those revenue into the business, and that's how they're also measured within the organization. So it's not their individual choice; it's part of them representing the organization. So I think
definitely.
it's not them being, you know, mean towards you. And I would never ever advise anyone to take you personal in that sense, because I think that's just not representative of how you even will gonna succeed in
Yeah,
the future. I think you need to make sure that you build those bridges and you keep the connections warm. And it doesn't matter where they're moving or are they moving or not. It's just good for the brand to maintain positive relationship with the organization and those people around, because you know they will still, the word will be passed on.
Absolutely. And I think keep sharing good news as well. You know, when you do have a win or a new product development or new packaging format or, you know, a piece of positive press, you know, keep sharing it, you know, keep showing up and demonstrating that you're still here and still very much, you know, keen to work with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just make sure that you keep those, you know, conversations alive, or from time to time you engage with that. We had, for example, we did had that with one of the bigger retailer. The buyer moved to a different category, and the conversation got lost. So you have to build another relationship with a new buyer, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is, and these are the rules of the industry, and you need to understand very well how to play the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. You've been absolutely fantastic and very generous in sharing your experience, which I know will be very beneficial and helpful to many producers listening in. So we will share in the show notes where to find you, connect with you personally on LinkedIn, and how to find out more about Deuke's Honey across your social media. So probably Instagram, which I believe is where you're most active. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you taking the time to share your story.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your time today. It's been a delight. And also, I didn't mention, but you are also part of the reasons when we got those learnings around. So your help has been tremendous to our business and our learnings, and being able to take those no's into a positive. It also, you build it up into the company we are today. So thank you so, so much for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.